For the most part, all 17 NRL clubs play a fairly similar style of footy when working out of their own end. The better teams, though, are the ones who identify strengths in their roster and design a game plan that complements those strengths. For example, we all know the Penrith Panthers, their outside backs get really busy in yardage, which gives their forwards a rest and allows them to front load their efforts in defence. It's not the only viable solution in yardage, though, and as we've seen already this year, a few rival NRL clubs getting a little more expansive when working out of their own end. The Gold Coast Titans have found some cheap meters through Alofiana Khan-Pereira on the left wing in recent weeks, but it's what they're doing in the lead-up that's creating that space down the touchline in yardage. You can see Mo Fotuaika here takes the ball right into the middle of the Knights' defence instead of trying to find a smaller body in the line. He splits the Knights' defensive line right down the middle, and it means that when Brian Kelly comes onto this ball really nice and direct on play 2, the Knights' right edge is really tight. They tuck in, expecting a regulation hit-up, leaving a little bit too much space out on the edge for AKP, who Brian Kelly finds with a good pass. They did it again later in the game, and this time they added a few extra details in the lead-up to really ice the play. You can see Liu setting things up just like Mo did towards the middle of the field before Josiah Paulu hits the tram line here to get Lucas, Cogger and Dane Gagai caught up in the tackle. That leaves the Knights with two forwards filling up down the short side on the following play. And when you've got a guy like Fafita with the ball, with both hands out in front calling for the ball, you can see the way the Knights have to check him in the line before sliding. And that creates the space for Khan-Pereira down the touchline. The Manly Sea Eagles, they often look to try and do something similar with Hamole Olakau'atu on their right edge. Usually the speed of Jason Saab is the target for a backline movement in yardage from the Sea Eagles, but even with Saab sidelined at the moment, the likes of Tolatau Kula linking up around Hamole Olakau'atu is a big problem for edge defenders. When you've got a guy as big as Hamole who can pass at or through the line like this, and the extra space afforded to a guy like Kula with his speed and agility, it's a really nice mix and a good look for the Manly Sea Eagles as they work out of their own end. We've seen the Warriors do something similar earlier in the season through Roger Tuivasa-Sheck out there at left centre. He's such a handful to contain one-on-one, and the Wars did really well to give him early ball working out of their own end. You can see Marcelo Montoya here. Again, just like Brian Kelly on that Titans example, looks like he's taking the ball into the teeth of the defence and then he bounces out and shifts to Roger. Then some really nice variation from the Wars once they've conditioned those edge defenders to jam on Roger. You can see here Chanel getting a nice ball over the top for Marcelo Montoya to go down the touchline. This one's a little bit different from the Newcastle Knights. Over the last few weeks, David Armstrong scored a length of the field try, courtesy of this little action from Greg, Marzu and Bradman Best on kick returns. You can see the way the defence folds in towards Marzu. His gravity as a ball carrier on this return demands so much attention from the defence. And poor Charlie Staines here doesn't see Bradman Best, who snuck down the touchline back onside to be a support option. Even if Bradman doesn't get the ball here, at the very least, he holds a defender wide and it gives Marzu an easier kick return on play 1. And at best, creates a line break opportunity, and Armstrong ices a play that the Knights definitely would have practiced during the week. I think that Armstrong try in particular is a really good example of the weekly highlight reels not always showing us where the damage has been done, often a few tackles or even a few sets prior to scoring. I think there's an element of risk involved in these exit shifts or these different routes out of yardage, and that's why we don't see every team shifting the ball in every exit set. It also relies really heavily on the cattle available to your particular club, and as always, the better clubs are those that find more ways to get the most out of their best players. Head over to rugbyleaguewriters.com for more content like this. We've got all the Magic Round covered and a preview of the upcoming weekend ahead. Cheers.